Welcome to a new module in our video training series, Umpire 101. This series is sponsored by the Utah High School Baseball Umpires Association in cooperation with the Utah High School Activities Association. In this module, we will cover the ins and outs of conducting the pregame conference. I'm Paul Husselby, Rules Interpreter for the Utah High School Baseball Umpires Association. Thank you for joining us for this training video. Today, we're going to talk about conducting the pregame conference, also known as the plate meeting. The pregame conference is governed by the following provisions of the NFHS Baseball Rules Book. Rule 2, Section 10, Article 2, Rule 3, Section 2, Article 4, and Rule 4, Section 1, Articles 3 and 4. The plate meeting should begin no less than 5 minutes before game time. Umpires wearing sunglasses should remove them during the plate meeting. The pregame conference should include the plate umpire, the base umpire or umpires, and the head coaches. If the head coach for one team is not present, request his or her attendance. If the head coach refuses to attend the pregame conference, Rule 324 requires that he or she be restricted to the dugout for the entire game except to attend to an injured player. The person attending the plate meeting will be considered the head coach for the purpose of communicating with the umpires. Plate umpires do not begin the meeting until all parties are present. If your base umpire is in the restroom or down the first baseline, stashing his water bottle or whatever, wait for the base umpire before you begin. Having the base umpire present is important because it gives you a witness of the things you said or did not say during the meeting. Before beginning the plate meeting, the umpires should take their proper positions. The plate umpire's position is always just behind the apex of the plate itself. In a 2-umpire crew, the base umpire's position is in front of the plate facing the plate umpire. In a 3-umpire crew, U1 faces the plate umpire just off the front corner of the first base side of the plate. U3 faces the plate umpire just off the front corner of the third base side of the plate. The plate umpire conducts the plate meeting. The standard UHSBUA agenda for plate meetings looks like this: introductions and preliminary handshakes. Umpires should introduce themselves to coaches by first and last name. When you greet coaches, be formal yet polite. Even if you have known a head coach for 20 years, do not address that coach using his or her first name. Coach Jones, or merely Coach, will do. Lineups. After the introductions, the plate umpire requests each team's lineup, home team first. Also, the coaches should exchange lineups if they have not already done so. The plate umpire should verify that the lineup card provides the last name, uniform number, and position of each player, as well as the last names and uniform numbers of substitutes. Each team's lineup card should list the batting order. The lineup should adhere to one of 3 options: traditional DH, player DH, or straight 9. The plate umpire should verbally confirm which of the 3 options is being used. For example, the plate umpire might say, "So it looks like you have number 17, Ohtani, as the starting pitcher and player DH in the 3rd spot of the batting order. Is that correct, coach?" Also, be sure that the lineup restricts each defensive position to only one player. The lineup card should not reflect that number 4, Gehrig, batting 3rd, and number 3, Ruth, batting 4th, are both playing first base. Finally, after accepting the lineups, the plate umpire should conclude this portion of the plate meeting by saying, "Coaches, the lineups are now official. Any further changes before the first pitch are subject to the rules governing substitution." Mandatory discussion. After the lineups have been exchanged, verified, and accepted, the plate umpire must cover 3 things. First, ask each head coach, are all of your players legally and properly equipped? The only acceptable answer to this question is yes. If the coach says, "As far as I know," that isn't good enough. The plate umpire should not accept anything less than an affirmative response. Second, explain the expectation of good sportsmanship on the part of all players and coaches. And third, ask the coaches to report all substitutions to the plate umpire. Remind them that projected substitutions are not allowed. Ground rules. The home team's head coach should cover the ground rules. If the game is played on a neutral field, the plate umpire handles the ground rules or delegates it to the base umpire. Let's wrap up with a few more words of advice. First, we said earlier that the plate umpire conducts the meeting. The base umpire, or umpires, remain silent unless asked a direct question by the plate umpire or one of the head coaches. If a coach's question can or should be answered by the plate umpire, redirect the question to him or her. If the plate umpire asks the base umpire a question, the base umpire should confine his or her response to the question. Make the answer complete, yet succinct. In some cases, the plate umpire will ask that the base umpire handle a particular part of the meeting, such as covering the ground rules on a neutral field. Again, the base umpire should be brief while touching all the bases. Above all, base umpires do not use the invitation as an excuse to hijack the plate meeting. Know your role and stick to it. Second, do not skip the lineup cards in sub-varsity games. Regardless of what anyone has told you or what you may have done in the past, there is no such thing as open substitution in freshman or JV games. Also, do not allow teams to have 10 players bat in a sub-varsity game. Bending these rules just opens a can of worms for other umpires in other games. Please don't be part of the problem. Third, let's confine ourselves to the brief agenda we have already described. The plate meeting is not a place to bring up past incidents or disagreements, nor is it appropriate to issue warnings about things that have not even happened yet. If there was an incident in a previous game between the two teams in the previous week or so, do not rehash it or threaten dire consequences for further bad behavior. Just be sure to underscore the importance of good sportsmanship at the appropriate time in the meeting. Finally, the plate meeting should be brief. It should not take nearly as long to conduct as it has taken to describe or explain. As we conclude, let's review. The pregame conference should start no less than 5 minutes before game time. It begins with the umpires and coaches introducing themselves. Then the plate umpire requests and inspects the lineup cards. 3 discussion items are mandatory. Verify that all players are legally and properly equipped. Emphasize the expectation of good sporting behavior. And ask coaches to report substitutions through the plate umpire. Then go over the ground rules. Remember that the pregame conference is the plate umpire's show. Base umpires should not try to hijack the meeting. Also, do not skip the lineup cards in sub-varsity games. Next, stick to the agenda without warnings or threats about what might happen. And finally, keep the plate meeting brief. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions about this presentation or any other rule governing high school baseball in Utah, please email us at uhsbua.rules@gmail.com. For the Utah High School Baseball Umpires Association, I'm Paul Husselby.